What's up, y'all? A little late. Still here. All right. Let's do this noise. Okay. Let's make sure I'm all set up here. Get some. Just gonna get some chill vibes going on. Welcome to the stream. We will be picking up our our draw brand. Our draw brand. Let's just go ahead and make sure my my levels are coming good. Cool, little background ambiance. Okay. All right. So we good. What's up, Nagani? Tisk tisk. 903. Keeping me honest. All right. So let's see where we left off here. Kind of just zoom out, see what we got. So we're really just doing the kind of the sketch layers right now. And with that, we're kind of just, having fun, seeing where our layout's going to be. We've kind of modified this a couple times throughout. But with this, I think what I'm going to start to do is just really drop the opacity on this a little bit more. Cut it so this not looks like such definitive lines. We can kind of use this as our basic outline. I was thinking of actually making another duplicate or another layer here. That's going to be like our sketch layer 2. We'll just rename this. Then, basically, want to do kind of just lightens that up a little bit. Okay. All right. What we also did is I took a bunch of like in-game screenshots just to kind of get better reference material. So I basically just have like different angles of him just to kind of see what we're working with here. More so like his face. So I found out he has more of almost like a bat nose going on. This, for example, I didn't realize that this was chainmail, so that's pretty sick. And then, especially like his armor, his breastplate, we can kind of get a little bit more into the details. And then kind of just pulled this one through here, just to kind of get a little bit more info outside of my other reference. But with that, let's go ahead and get started here. So we're on sketch 2. Just do some practice lines here. Okay. So I think one thing I wanted to start out with is really just reworking this perspective a little bit more. So definitely have, so we know we want to have him be holding up a guy. That's a given. Kind of make this sketch layer just a little bit lighter here. So we want him to be holding up a guy. This is gonna be the dude. This is gonna be the guy. He's gonna be all hurt. He might be holding a shield. We might even make this ultimately, thinking of even having it be crushed a little bit more, but for now we can keep him as is. But really kind of just working on more of like this perspective of he's kind of holding him up like this, more facing the camera. Just kind of want to make sure that that's going to be coming through all good. What we'll do is drop this volume a little bit more. You're pretty quiet, not gonna lie. Okay, no, good. Let me know these things. Okay. Gotta get this like right up in your friggin' mouth. I'll talk a little bit louder. Thanks for letting me know, Nagani. This mic. Okay. So here, kind of just, we'll still follow these lines. Kind of want to make sure that comes out like this. Okay. So we did find out that, you know, he does have this kind of shoulder skull pad on one side, and then on the other side, it's empty, which is kind of neat. But here we were trying to figure out kind of how this would work a little bit better here. So again, this is just going to be kind of our sketch layer, so I'm not going to go too in depth. Here I know he's kind of got this, like, get in his face a little bit more. Yeah, I know new equipment takes some adjusting. Yeah, it does. Yes, it does. I've heard that about this microphone, though. It's kind of weird because I feel like I have the input turned up all the way. But we'll figure that out. Thanks for letting me know. So here, he kind of has, you know, a little bit more of a, like, this type of a nose. Kind of comes down like this. Wasn't really able to see this detail last time. I know that this kind of came out like this. Got some, and then looks like it's kind of where his hair starts here. And these are kind of just like little maybe like frohawks up like this. Again, this is just kind of putting down these harder lines. We got to make that so that these horns actually look like they're coming out of his head a little bit more. But just a work in progress here. It'll all come together at the end. Don't really want to spend too much time on any one spot right now. Just don't want to get caught up. Just as long as it keeps semi-looking like Skarbrand. Okay. So he's actually got kind of like he does have an upper lip. Kind of like that. It's like little beaked out a little bit. Kind of comes out like this. He's got like these little kind of fangs areas here too. Okay. Because ultimately what we'll do is we will then drop the opacity on this layer that we're on. And then that will then open it up to our hardline layer. That's when things get a little bit more serious. So here we can kind of just still have some fun here. You know, not get too caught up. Kind of draw some fangs up in here. This guy's got some big ol', you know, chompers here. He's got some major fangs here. And just with some smaller ones. Kind of make it so his mouth's open a little bit more. Okay. Here, I mean, he's kind of basically like blocked out. Like everything's really like scaly, so he's kind of just everything's like kind of just blocked out. All right, then here with this, kind of just, you know, he's got his goatee rocking. Actually, this is looking at this now. We can see that these are like. I'll just kind of make this out like this. Just kind of, you know, getting some lighter lines in. And then I know that this is going to be kind of his goatee, which we will then see. So it's got kind of like a pretty long pattern here. So we'll make sure to include that. One thing I did notice too, actually, and this was I thought it was pretty cool. He rocks like an earring. It's kind of cool. So I thought that was pretty neat. And with this, the same side, it looks like everything's broken on this end. So even this horn down here. So it's one of the things I kind of liked about Skarbrand. He's not so symmetrical. How you doing, Nagani? Christmas decorations came out amazing. I'm not going to get too caught up in staying in any one place for too long. Here, what we can do is really use this as a way to put some movement to the part too. And what I'll do is I'll actually zoom out just so I'm not getting too fixated on one spot without kind of seeing how this ultimately looks like. So here we'll know that this kind of is this other, a little bit better here. This is kind of where his upper trap will be. I mean, even from where we were last time, this is looking a little bit more Skarbrandy, I'd say. So you just use your mouse, you have a drawing pad. Yeah, so I have a stylus, and I have this Wacom Intuos tablet. So this is what I use to draw. I use the mouse a little bit if I need to like quickly navigate to something or do like a right click. But yeah, this is this is the way here. So let's see here. I kind of want to just make sure that I feel like his body. Let's actually create one more layer here because I just want to get a little bit more of his skeleton made out. Maybe let's just have this be like a. So, all right. So shoulder. He's got his face here. Other shoulder would be here. Chest. That's kind of where this goes. Need to move over just a little bit here. Okay. So where's torso is. Connects there. Then I feel like I need, so he's actually got a little bit more of like these kind of, he's got these bull legs, right? If you look at him straight on, I think. You know, so they do kind of double back on themselves. See this? So his knees kind of come down lower and then kind of they fold back up. So it's not like something like this, right? So I can't really draw him like a human because he ain't a human. And actually, you know what we'll do is we'll just, oops. I was going to say we just take this, drop that into there, and there we got our Skarbrand. There we got our Skarbrand drawing. This is it. One way to do it. Cool. And this is kind of the look I'm going for a little bit, is more of this. Yeah, I kind of have them a little bit switched up here as far as the one coming out ahead. But work in progress here. All right. So it kind of does seem like this like kind of needs to come back a little bit more, I feel like. Let's just make sure that we're staying on the right layer though. Oops. Where his chest comes up. He does have this little piece of armor, but we're not going to worry about that yet. We just kind of have to get where his anatomy is first. That's like the most important part right now. So if this is where he's holding this cat. Like, would his arm come down? I kind of want it extended out a little bit more, but I kind of wanted to like bring him in like he's like right in this dude's face. So it's almost like it would kind of come out a little bit more. Just trying to figure out where the elbow would be here. And I don't expect to get to the hard lines tonight. You know, we're just going to be doing an hour drawing stream, and so really, this part takes like the most time. Kind of just figuring this out a little bit more. I mean, we almost want to. As long as the lines make sense to me. But again, this is really just practice for me as well too. I haven't really drawn in a long time, so just kind of getting back in the swing of things. So of course, you know, starting out with moving on to Skarbrand here. So this is kind of maybe his tricep. This will be his big old bicep. And he's got his kind of his armor right here that I started to draw. So if we look at that, basically it's going to be like this little kind of a skull that's just resting on him. And then what we can do is we can kind of pull this one over as well too. It's a good just in general piece. And there's our Skarbrand drawing. This reference art pulled up. Cool. All right. Just trying to put a little bit more like kind of foreshortening to where it just looks a little bit more dynamic than just really flat. I'm trying to avoid it being flat, and that in of itself is just, it takes a little bit more time to get it right, just because there's different what did I draw this on? Uh-oh. See, so I accidentally drew that on layer 7. It's not tight. Okay, we'll just merge these two then. Cool. All right, so now I guess layer 7 is our sketch 2, and we'll just actually rename this. Okay. I kind of want to go a little bit. Something's telling me that just kind of make his, like, even just drop it down a little bit more too. Like, what was something like that? Like, just to make it a little bit more kind of foreshortened, like he's like, you know, it's the just trying to mess with the perspective, and you'll hear me say that a lot because it's a difficult thing to do. You know, we'll kind of then this will make his arm start a little bit over here. And then essentially this will be okay where some of this armor starts, and he's basically just got like a breastplate here. This is gonna be where his goatee can come out. It's kind of how his goatee looks. He's kind of got it wrapped up like that. Okay, and then, so if we look at this thing kind of comes out into some little barbs here. Then he's got more. Another barb, and then this is kind of, it basically like ties off around this. Okay, so this kind of then pops off into a, and he's got another bar here, and then we'll just call it another bar there. We don't have to be exactly one-to-one. That's going to be a little bit tedious, but you know, we'll give it the same effect when it's all together. It'll look good. Then he kind of just has like, you know, where it actually ends. Okay. And the thing is as well, when you start getting a little bit more of your lines down, you'll start to see that it'll actually help you uncover the lines that don't belong, you know, and that's part of it, is you get it all down and then you can always just clean it up later. And that's one of the reasons I like digital drawing. You can always just clean it up afterward. So here what we can do, just start kind of making these lines here, which is a part of his armor. Yeah, we're not going too into the details here, just trying to get lines on paper. This is his girdle. So this kind of comes out like so. Even with this, might end up reworking how we do this one. And then looking, say, at this leg plate we have here, I'm gonna go ahead and just pull this over. Kind of see now how this looks here. So layer 11 good. We'll go back to sketch layer. Okay. And let's see here. So these are definitely going to be just wrapping around his leg. But I know one thing I wanted to work on tonight was going to be his leg situation. So let's try to make this look a little bit more like it's wrapped around. And ultimately his hand here is going to be kind of behind. And where we end up kind of having him hold this axe is TBD right now. But what I'll do is I'll start kind of clearing out the area that I know I'm going to be drawing into. So I'm thinking like seeing this, almost make his like hand a little bit more like this, then the axe would maybe come down. Like so, and for that, kind of have this go like this. Maybe this where the blade is at, a little bit more. Kind of comes up. And I mean, this is kind of where he'll hold it. I just zoom out. We got some room here. Kind of just use this as a way to a little bit of foreshortening as well too. Foreshortening is essentially if it's now you're good, I'm no artist either. Your work is great. Nice seeing the layers at work and your approach to it. Thanks, Sagani. Yeah, it's there are definitely probably better ways to do this. And I'm not opposed learning, but kind of just you know, just give it a shot, jump in, get to the point where you're, interested in learning a little bit more. Here, this is actually going to be like an actual skull, and I think I do have a close-up of this. Yeah, so it's going to be just the skull here, and we can kind of just remake this real quick and pull this on over. Oh, we already have it. The thing is, too, is to really just not rush this, I know I'm doing this for stream, but there's no point in just, like, rushing it just to try to make something happen if it's not happening. Alright, so here we'll just kind of, again, put some initial lines down so we know that this is going to be kind of more of like a skull that comes out like this. And this is just something we can always clean up. The cool thing that I wanted to definitely get in tonight was like actually doing this chainmail. It's like one of my favorite things to make. I think this just really does a nice job of like putting some I mean, in the scheme of things, this is a little bit longer. So one thing as well, what we can do now that we're here is we can kind of just use this lasso tool just to select this if I didn't want to redraw this in its entirety, and kind of just use this to plop this down a little bit. Yeah, Nagani with it's like motion graphics and all this other stuff's like everything's so disciplined, every like skill set, it's just like all little things to it. All the little specialties. Okay, here. Alright, so I kind of wanted to let's work on his legs a little bit more. So, I mean, I almost feel like what we can do is almost just rock with me here for a second. I'm thinking this like can even be like almost comes out just even more so. This is going to be kind of behind, so okay, this is where this thigh would connect here. And I feel like I feel like I might need to just come back to this part. Maybe this one is good and this one's the one that's a little bit more jacked up. The legs ain't looking right though. They're not looking right to me. I want these a little bit cleaner. So I think, and as well, if I get too locked up on the legs, I'll just move on to something different. I mean, they're not looking too bad actually. I think maybe just make this smaller. It's got some pretty cool boots. And really, we just don't want to we don't really want to get stuck, so we're just going to kind of keep rocking it. Just going to zoom out here. So I think what's interesting is this it does double back a little bit much and then it comes forward again. So maybe we just do this one more like, hold on here. Bring this foot out. Just comes out a little bit more. There's gonna be a lot of lines here, folks, so just rock with me. Trying to make some. We're switching legs. Just gonna start drawing some of the armor here. Okay. Just gonna kind of move where just taking us. So I feel like I know what's up going on here. I feel like I need to take this. I feel like I actually need to I need to like pull this down a little bit more. So I'm gonna go back to the sketch layer real quick. I'm just gonna rock this here. Isolate this foot a little bit more. And then I think I'm just gonna like let's just see where I need to pull this out a little bit more. Okay. Pull this out from that first sketch layer we had. Maybe it's not so big. It's kind of the benefit of digital art. I can also just increase this opacity. Kind of see a little bit more what we're working with here. But we know it's not going to be in like this for perspective's sake. I'm just going to have to find where it makes sense. And see, even like pulling it out from where it was here. Maybe something like that. Kind of jump into the sketch 2. We'll deselect this. Go to the sketch layer and drop this opacity back down a little bit. I think that's even looking a little bit better here. So we'll go back to our sketch 2 layer. Just kind of use this, you know, this armor is going to come up like this anyway. Kind of the armor pad. Just a little bit more of like his leg in here. And then from here, knee, kneecap. So come down a little bit more here. Into this armor. That's going to be like right under his knee. That's where this starts. And then we get into kind of the hoof area. And with this now, we're going to kind of just start going off. Okay, we have his armor, which looks like this. Just going to start putting some armor together here. Kind of make these dark lines where these bands on his leg will be. That's kind of where the crease in that foot will go. Just use this more as a... Just making sure that the armor's perspective is always correct too with what we're following. And I know there's things that you could do like vanishing points, and I tried to kind of redo that with this area right here, but I don't know. It's a work in progress. Some armor here. And I feel like what we can do is to make this a little bit more pronounced as well too, is we can go ahead and select... I almost want to make this foot a little bit, drop this foot a little bit smaller and behind him. But this is now separate from something like that. So we take out the sketch layer. What we'll do is we will edit, we will cut this, edit, cut. Then we'll just edit, paste this into its own layer, and we'll just name this layer back leg, because this is going to be really important for making this whole thing come together. Rename to layer back leg. Okay. And we'll go ahead and drop our sketch layer. And then we will pull our, where's our back leg at? Here we go. Grabbing our back leg. All right, back leg, let me grab you. So here, I think this is kind of where it's currently at. I mean, I almost want to, you know, thing with perspective too is it's going to look a little different based upon what kind of points are sticking out. So I need to be careful here because I'm actually having a lot of, you know, I got to figure out like what's the depth And so if this person here is going to be the more depth of what's more like in front of the camera's face as opposed to this foot, I got to do that accordingly. So kind of just make sure that this kind of comes through. Actually, you know, on second thought here, this thing I got going right now is actually pretty. This is looking a little bit more appealing to me. So just kind of sketch this out a little bit more. Okay. So you have like this. Armor. The axe will be. I figure his axe will actually be a little bit more behind his leg here. Okay. And let's go ahead and we got about 20 minutes left. So I think, have you ever worked with animator programs? No, I haven't. I did download Adobe Character Animator, because I thought that would be pretty fun. But no, I haven't gotten into the animation side of things yet. Just sticking with that 2D. What about you? You do any animation work? I've only dabbled in video editing. No, nothing animator related. Animated related. Yeah, it's what I kind of wanted to do was I had an idea to like don't tell everybody this, but I had an idea to like almost draw the faces and then animate their like there's programs that'll like motion capture like your facial expressions moving and then like kind of motion capture like a cartoon mouth like talking and then do like almost like Warhammer Lord freestyle like battles, little rap battles where each of them kind of have their own like profile picture and they're coming up and yelling at each other. Okay. Or Photoshop, Illustrator, and InDesign. Yeah, I've only really messed with Photoshop. And even so, this is like a Photoshop Lite version. Okay, so we'll just kind of keep following where the night's taking us here. So what we can do is we know that these come down. We can kind of get back into the sketch layer. Start seeing how we can kind of like move. See how even the shoulder dropping just makes it a lot less flat. No, I'm telling everyone. Spilling the beans here. So one thing, if we're dropping this other layer, let's go ahead and make time to put in some of these wings. This is right now similar to what we did here. We'll just kind of get placeholder wings. So within our sketch 2 layer, make sure that these kind of come up. And these are going to change, of course, as we go. But it's going to just be our initials, our initial thinkings. That's why it's a sketch layer, because you're just kind of making some light sketches. Here we can start hiding that. And we're actually now into our art here, so we're gonna delete that, unfortunately. Okay. I mean, his wings are gonna be a lot more massive, I can tell you that. Okay, this person here. I feel like for this, we'll just kind of make it so he's wearing like a tabard. And it saves me some headache. We'll just make him wearing like a tabard. It's gonna be a spack. Then he'll have almost like his legs are actually gonna be probably pretty stuck together. Gotta figure that out. I almost want to make him like getting crunched a little bit more, but I don't know, it's a little gruesome. This will be like where his axe is kind of like into the ground. And some setup there. Oxy sleeping or else he'd be in here too. I mean, gotta sleep sometime. Gotta sleep sometime. I was like jamming pretty late Pacific, and he's like, my first alarm just went off, and it was like 4 a.m. his time. It's like, dang, bro. I think with this we can then maybe take away the sketch layer. We'll leave it for now. But here we can kind of just clean up knowing the lines that aren't going to be where we need them to be. Some of these lines are just kind of getting in our way right now. Leave some of these in here though. Okay. I feel like we can make these swings a little bit more massive. But we're kind of rounding out the hour here, so we won't get too stuck on this. We'll kind of just move to a spot we're good and comfy with. I think primary thing I wanted to do today was definitely get his face a little bit more set up. Yeah, I got notification through the middle of the night. I was like, guy crazy. How am I supposed to keep up with the gameplay? VODs. No. I went a little bit off the charts. I know. But I'm back. I reeled it in. Here, what we can do to kind of just round us out is start taking away these lines we know we're gonna keep. I think what we do here is we actually get into this sketch layer. Start clearing out this stuff. Kind of see this comes to life a little bit more. And we'll still want to then get into, he does have this chest armor here, which is one thing we'll want to account for. So we can start kind of jamming this out a little bit more. Cool. And we'll just figure out where that all rests later on. Cool. I definitely just want to be making progress. I don't want to just be getting caught up in like a certain part of this. So we'll kind of get to the point where I'm happy with this initial sketch. So he's gonna have some armor up on him here. This will kind of beat out a little bit more. Get his axis there. And I think what we'll be at will be pretty golden for moving on to the next stream, which will be next week, scheduled. We'll start moving on to the hard line, and after that, then we get into color. So just making sure that this is pretty much all set up for us here. We're not going to worry about getting into the armor specifics tonight. We just want to end it with some nice reference lines that we know we're going to bring into our hard drawing. Sorry, looking much more creepy though. A lot more draw brand going on, I'd say. Okay, here's good, here's good, here's good. This, probably make this guy's wear like a, just to avoid facial features. Nah, just razzing you. You can stream whenever you, as long as I'm awake, I'll likely hop in. The best, Nagani. We're gonna go ahead and just forego any unnecessary facial features by just putting this guy in a straight bucket helmet and one of these like Knights Templars. Have his back here, shoulder. And I just don't know, like at this point, do we make it so he's like semi still alive? You know, kind of have maybe blade like this. Like, I mean, he's going to swing. And maybe I'm actually feeling like we do, you know, if I was him, I'd at least be trying to put like my shield up in front of me. So I think I might change the perspective of this shield to where this kind of comes out and we actually see the shields like this. Maybe he's kind of got it up a little bit more and he's actually got the shield perspective here. So this is going to be his arm for what it's worth, kind of putting up his shield like this, trying to block whatever's about to come. There's a lot of lines going on here right now, but I can kind of see it. I can kind of see it through. It's going to be, this is where the shield's going to be. Make him limp, right? Make him limp. He knocked out or dead. Yeah, at that point, you got a point. You got a point. Like at that point, bro, you just gonna meet the maker. All right, so let's do this. Viewer's choice. So we'll make him limp. I kind of want him to even make it seem like he's like crunched a little bit more, but I can kind of do that by just pulling this in. This will be actually where his thumb will be at. Kind of see how things start to come together a little bit. There's just a lot of lines going on over here now. Okay, so for this, what we'll do, if this guy's gonna be limp, holding the sword or not, he's not like he's already done for. At that point, yeah, he's knocked out. He ain't holding nothing. He ain't holding nothing. So I'll just kind of have his hand rest down here. And then here. So one thing I got to keep in mind too is just that how this guy's body is then going to play out. So he'll probably have like, you know, we'll just make this kind of where his coat is at. We'll then use this to erase where this would be covering. Kind of this is going to be the back of his He's garb. He'll have like a tunic on. Then here, the thing is too, I don't want to make this cat too big, so maybe make it more small like that. It's like the back of his tunic. And then here, erase these lines. But what we'll have is, we'll have his, he knocked out a dead. And his legs come up here like so. Cool, and then what's kind of cool is we'll just do some the back of his visions here, and then we'll just kind of have his feet be like back of his eyes there. Kind of like the back of his shoes here, the soles of his shoes. Kind of trying to make him seem a little bit lifeless to you, you know? He already gone. He already gone. But we also want to just make sure that he's got human proportions, so. But I mean, actually, let's see here. His body comes out like this. We'll say it ends here. So this will actually be a little bit more. Yeah, this will be. So let's kind of take this in. Let's take this up a notch. I mean, it'd be smaller, man. It'd be like here. I mean, he'd be like, you know, let's just say that was his torso, probably around here. It's almost like gripping all the things together. It's not like he's just gripping like his waist and that's that. He's got him like all over the place. So let's see how that looks. And then from here. Still gives us the ability to make sure that we get his elbow accounted for. I feel this might be a little. Some of these proportions, like you just gotta have to do it till it kind of looks right to you. Okay, here what we can do is we can then start erasing up into this area. He's not going to have a shield on him. Into the sketch layer and also show that he's not going to get this shield rocking. Okay. And ultimately we'll want to kind of make it so it's kind of like slouched over a little bit, you know, no, all just kind of dangling, which would be kind of a task in itself. Excuse me. Let's just be his arm here. His arm here. And this actually will provide a nice little gap, so it's not all on top of each other here. So we were essentially like, we'll just kind of make this hard line so you can see where the helmet will be at. The guy's eyes will be. Cool. And I think with that, that's going to go ahead and take us to the top of the hour. So these drawing streams are just designed to be an hour block at a time. So we can kind of just bring it out. We'll just do the last couple lines that we want, but I think this is looking a lot better from where it was, which is always what we want to do. Here, I think one thing that's kind of jacking me up is how this armor is playing out with. Well, this is actually kind of a drop piece, like a loincloth, so maybe this does look fine. We'll definitely want to play around with that a little bit more, but I think this is a good area to stop at right here. Cool. Thanks for kicking it, everybody. Everyone watching that VOD. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that jazz. Cool. Nagani, thanks for hanging out. And for the advice, let it be known, Nagani says he was dead or limp. Not alive holding the sword and board. So that's where this came from. And it's already looking better. It's already, might even actually take this guy and make him a little bit more, even seeing this now, like I might even make him a little bit more hunched out, but I do kind of want him to where like Skarbrand's looking at his eyes a little bit more. But this is a good perspective here. Yeah, maybe he drops his shield. Yeah, maybe he drops his shield, right? Something like that. Kind of be like action going on at the same time. Maybe this could just be like his shield. Maybe make his sword down here. It's funny, even just by like little sketching out, like kind of cool how you can kind of see it start to come together. I mean, ultimately with these shields too, they were kind of like strapped in, I think. But at any rate, I think this is good. But also, no, I'm gonna stick to my schedule. And I'm not gonna do any drawing tonight or streaming of the game tonight. But I think next week, Tuesday, it's not my channel what I'm gonna be going next. But I'm gonna try to stick to a little bit more of a schedule with that. Cool. Thanks, Nagani. Have a wonderful night. See you, everyone.